What's up, everyone? Matt Fada here with another hopefully exciting backyard baseball video. Still playing on this side season created by Emery. We went over our team last time and had a pretty good first showing, and we're just going to go right into our game number 2 here, but make sure you check out game number 1 if you are interested. I'm not going to change anything about our lineup. Pretty much liked the whole thing. How it worked out outside of poor Brad Bender at the bottom, who's not the best player for Tin Can Alley, but that's alright. He's a solid second baseman, a solid defender in general, as long as you're not expecting him to cover too much ground. So, yeah, with his arm, it's kind of a waste to put him at first, but that could be an option too. But pretty happy with our defensive setup in general, and the offense pretty well worked how I wanted it to as well. So we're just going to go right into it and learn who is on our opponent's team, in this case the White Wombats, as we go. Don't want to spoil anything. Looks like they've got Reese Worthington leading off and playing left field, though I think the batting order for these AI teams should just be like the standard kind of opposite fielding order. So left field is position 9 in baseball. As Reese, I think, is going to hit that one off of the truck in center. It does, and Petra struggled with it. So Reese comes up with a double to lead things off as I'm just goofing off here. It's alright. So Reese playing left field. Gail Weinman, who is a Stephanie Morgan clone, playing center field. Does about the same thing, and ooh, Brad with a nice adjustment going back. That was all user adjustment, because Brad was going way off to the left somewhere, but he was somehow able to catch that ball, kind of falling backwards to his right. So nice catch. So Gail Weinman is retired. Marcellus Marks, who is the right fielder for these Wombats, is now up to bat. Obviously a much scarier offensive player than anyone else we faced so far. Marcellus grounds it to Cal at short. We actually take the easy out at third as Reese was trying to advance for some reason. So Marcellus does reach with technically a single. And is probably a pretty good candidate to try to steal here. And he does, and we cannot quite get him on the relay to second. I still very much struggle with successfully throwing out base stealers. I was trying to move Rawl forward a little bit. Whew. Jim smoked that one. And we're ultimately going to give up a run on an RBI double. Jim Kiley was the third baseman, hit the ball really hard to left field. They actually played it off the wall pretty well, but then the defense kind of went to shambles. Trying to get the ball in. Rawl left home plate, so we couldn't actually make a play on Marcellus, who was coming home. And yeah, it was just kind of a mess. After we got the ball, the horse fielded it well off the wall to begin with. But that's alright. Jim Kiley's at second. They scored their first run, but we have an 0-2 count and 2 strikes, and 2 outs with Angelique at the plate. She hits a little dribbler, fielded by Rawl, and we get the out at first. So 1 run on 3 hits for the Wombats there in the top of the first. And it is our turn now with Mr. Andy Bronson leading things off. Jerry Mahoney is on the mound for these Wombats. Looks like Larry Walker at shortstop is one of the last remaining players I hadn't encountered yet, and Sally Dobbs is playing first base. Cool team. Very nice hit by Andy up onto the trailer and center. And with his much more impressive speed than his namesake Randy Johnson, he gets himself a triple by the time the ball comes down off of the trailers. And is going to stay there with just a high bouncer from Ahmed after that. But Ahmed's able to reach first. Jerry just tries to hold Andy at third. So not impressive from Ahmed there, but still a single. Bringing up Rawl after him. Rawl's going to take that pitch. Is a strike. Catches the top part of the strike zone. So 0-1. No outs. Runners on first and third. Looks like we're going to have runners all over the bases now with a still dinky hit, but a single for Rawl there. Bases loaded for Petra Chekhov is not a bad place to be. Also realized I don't know who their catcher is. Seemed to have a good arm from that one throw there, but also seemed to be pretty slow. So worth keeping in mind. I'm going to get at least one person thrown out here. No, I'm not. Alright, well, I got lucky with a drop at catcher, but they fielded that ball off the wall way better than I was expecting. And if the catcher had not dropped the ball at home plate, I would have ran him into an out, but it just happened to work out for me. So still no outs. Runners on first and third. I wonder if they'll let me steal with Petra here. Time to find out. Looks like the answer is yes. As they had no interest in throwing the ball to second base, despite how long it was taking Petra to get there. This looks like a single for Amir from the catcher bobble. Yep. So not at all power swing, but hit it in the right spot for the catcher to not actually catch the ball. So bases loaded once again, still no outs, and Davey Marion at the plate. He's going to take that pitch low, but in the strike zone. So 0-1. Also for the uninitiated, I think I talked about this in the Game 1 video, as Davey takes another strike low in the strike zone. But our green and yellow color scheme here is a byproduct of the previous Reddit Backyard Baseball League season, where I was the Orioles, but we were representing my favorite football team's color scheme, the Green Bay Packers. So they still have that as part of this file setup. As Davey hits a weak pop-up that may have gotten dropped by the catcher, but was called an infield fly under these circumstances. As Cal hits one, it's not going to quite reach the trailer. Hit it to the wrong part of the field, and we get doubled up as well. Oof. And it's Donald Vogel behind the plate. He seems slower than that, but fair enough. Unfortunate, only 2 runs put on the scoreboard there, but that does give us a 1-run lead here. Some pretty quality defenders on this squad, I would say. This AI squad we are facing. Some of them have decent pop, like good old Sally here. It's making contact better than she really should as a one-contact player, but she does end up going down on strikes with a high heat, high and away heat, finally finishing her off. That'll bring up Larry Walker as the second batter for the Wombats here. We named ourselves a Fireball power-up that I will probably not use. Bunt from Larry goes nowhere, or I should say goes right to Andy Bronson. Andy pretty handily makes the play. And that'll bring up Donald. Who hits a little grounder, fielded by Rawl for the third out. So much cleaner second inning for us defensively. 1, 2, 3 inning on not a whole lot of pitches. Then we'll have Horace leading things off here in the bottom of the second. Jerry doing a good job of picking up the bottom of the strike zone. Picks up first strike against Horace. That one might have been hooking outside. It's low once again, but gave it a try anyways, and Horace fouled it off for strike 2. That one's a strike, but we foul it back behind home plate. And wait the fourth pitch of the at-bat from Jerry, which was not a strike. That hook fooled me a little bit. Thought it was going to catch the top part of the strike zone, but it did not. So we whiffed at it, and got one out in the inning, and probably going to be out number 2 as Jerry tries to throw at Brad, but thankfully for Brad that is not allowed in backyard baseball, so the ball does not actually hit him, and he makes really good contact out towards right field. Marcellus makes a pretty good throw into Sally as well, but with a little bit of speed boost going, we get Brad to first base safely. He's not particularly useful base runner there, as Jerry goes back to pecking at the bottom of the strike zone with Andy Bronson at the plate. So strike 1. We're going to take that. That's also a strike, though. As Andy falls behind 0-2, and we're going to leave on a power swing. And looks like that was a good call, as Andy is gonna just barely bounce it off the wall and get Brad thrown out at second anyways. So really just a long fielder's choice there, but thanks to backyard baseball being how it is, it will give Andy credit for a single there. Brings up Ahmed Khan with runner on first. 2 outs in the inning. He'll take the first pitch for a ball and the second pitch also for a ball. So 2-0. I don't know why I keep losing the game music occasionally, but such is life. I'm going to take a third consecutive pitch, also for a ball, and is going to not have the green light here, though with where that pitch ended up, that was okay. And we walk on down to first base. Runners on first and second. 2 outs for Mr. Mondesi here. I think we're going to keep him on power swing, at least early in the at-bat. As Jerry seems to be getting pretty wild out there on the mound. Misses pretty far inside with a zigzag. That was a pretty nice pitch. Right down the middle of the plate, maybe a little low, and Rawl fouls it back, and that's going to be enough. That's all the Wombats manager wanted to see out of Jerry there. And bring in Angelique Harding to try to finish off Rawl, and there's a pretty nice strike low in the zone. That one just does miss below the strike zone, thankfully. Go 2-2. That one misses even closer to the strike zone, but was still a ball, so a full count for Rawl here. It's a pretty good swing on the ball, it gets past Larry, and everyone is safe. Nice job by Rawl to keep things going and get Petra a shot with the bases loaded. I'd like to put some more runs on the board here, as Angelique misses well below the strike zone with her first pitch. And that one is going to be a strike. Oof. Pretty nasty location there. No interest in swinging at that, but that's all right. That one might have been called a ball, but I hadn't swung, honestly. Such is life. That one's going to be a ball. So 2 and 2 for Petra, and with her we're going to leave it on power swing here. Foul's a pretty nice looking pitch back behind the plate to stay at 2 and 2. And strikes. Dang it. Would have liked to put some runs on the board, especially with how many folks we had reach base there, but not that time. So we'll be still in a pretty good part of our lineup going into the bottom of the third. But for now, we are facing Jerry Mahoney for the first time. Jerry hits a ground ball out towards Cal, who falls over while fielding it, but still able to make a strong throw to first and beat Jerry by about half of the distance to first base, which I'm not exactly sure if we've ever for sure quantified the distance to first base. Maybe 60 feet, something less than Major League Baseball. Brings Reese Worthington back up at the top of this Wombats order. And I really should be pitching a little bit more carefully to him after his pretty nice double his first time up. But it is Reese, so I can't worry that much about it. And he does get him to strike out. His second K of the game so far. Brings Gail Weinman back up. And we're going to go back to slow balls for her. Solid player, Gail and Stephanie as well, but not a lot of power in their bats, which generally makes them not particularly good for Tin Can Alley. I don't really know what Brad's doing reading the ball there, but I guess he was trying to cover second. I don't know. Worked out. Andy made a nice diving play. Looks funny. The fact that he is actually the height of Randy Johnson, despite not really looking like it. Nice pitch from Angelique. Amir fouls it back, leading off for us here in the bottom of the third. Amir smacks that one into center, and it does get up on the trailer, just barely. Looks like it's going to come up. They're actually going to pretty quickly call it a ground rule double. That was about all I thought we were going to get out of that one anyways. So nice leadoff double for Amir. Brings up Davey Marion, who's going to take that pitch quite a ways below the strike zone for ball one. Yeah, just wasn't clicking at the right time for that one. Sorry, folks. Got mixed up with switching stances and trying to swing at the pitch. All good, though, as Davey cracks that one off the wall in left center, and it completely confounds this Wombats defense, as Gale is still trying to get to the ball, but got caught behind the wall out there in center. Nobody else on this Wombats team reacted to the ball, so one of the easiest home runs Davey will probably have this season. But gives us a 4-1 lead here, as Cal kills the ball into the trailer once again in left center. I thought Gale was going to be able to make a play that time, but with how bad that throw was, Cal probably could have made it to second without much difficulty. But we'll take a single there. I think that means we swing power with Horace. Yeah. Good call. Horace is going to power it up onto the trailer in center. So at the very least, this should be a ground rule double. But with how it's actually bounced around, we get a triple out. No, Yeah. They're ultimately going to send Horace back. Get a funny looking glitch where he's trying to run in both directions. I do get Cal home in time. If I had run home immediately with Horace, we might have seen him come in for a home run, but that's alright. We've got Brad Bender coming off his first hit of the season at the plate, so he can probably drive Horace in, but, well, nope, still not. Could have sent Horace towards third, but not really in the spirit of what I'm trying to do here. So we'll let Brad be retired. Leave Horace on second for Brad Bender, who switches to an open stance and then crushes it opposite field, impressively. The ball does come down off the trailers in time. So I believe that's Andy's second triple of the game. And he'll score Horace at the same time. So runner on third and one out for Ahmed here. Ahmed with a hard ground ball towards Sally at first, and she does make a nice play on the ball. Thought it might sneak by her for a second there. Again, could have sent Andy home. Might have worked out, but well. Pitch might have been a ball too. It was tough. Close to the top of the strike zone. Similar to that pitch that I did end up taking and was called a ball. That's going to be a strike low and inside, but no thank you. Really love something right about in the heart of the zone there, but we'll take that one a little bit on the edge of the strike zone. I seem to have, I don't know, better luck timing those or something. I'm not really sure. I think this one's going to get called back for a ground rule double. It's so RBI double for Rawl there. Extends our lead 7-1. We've had a pretty good bottom of the third here. And Petra at the bat. Pitch looked to be about the same spot, maybe a little outside the strike zone. Petra just fouls it back though. And that's going to be enough for the Wombats to take out Angelique, replace her with Sally Dobbs. And Petra hits that ball hard to center field. Looks like a pretty similar situation. Ball bounces around for a while. Petra, I expect, will get called back to second here. Yeah, they're pretty good about actually calling ground rule doubles. 0-1 more so than 0-3, I feel like. No RBI double for Petra off of Miss Sally Dobbs. Nice pitch from Sally, a little too high in the strike zone for me to really want to swing at it with a mirror. And her second pitch misses outside. So 1-1 the count, 2 outs in the inning. Petra at second and Amir at the plate. Amir will take another pitch, just a little below the strike zone for ball 2. And, well, our strategy here is to do something like that. Would have preferred a little more power. Actually let Petra move around the bases, but that's alright. Need a pretty good swing from Davey here to move things along though. That one was very, very tempting, but decided it was a little bit too far outside, and well, it actually was. That one looks quite a bit below the strike zone. It wasn't actually very much below, but still a ball to go to 2-0 for Davey here. That one looks low to me too. Does catch the bottom of the strike zone though. 2-1 on Davey. Hits that one quite well out towards right field though. And the ball comes down pretty quickly, but everything's still pretty well worked out. Maybe could have even advanced Emery towards third, but most importantly was the double for Davy and getting Petra off the base paths. Gives us a 9-1 lead as well. Looks like we're going to get another of those kind of janky... Nope. Run back, Cal, run back. I was going to say we were going to get another one of those janky situations where the Wombats' defense failed to react to the ball. Instead, Larry noticed it was just a few feet behind him and went and picked it up, but we still got 2 runners home off of a long single from Cal. So Cal's still standing on first base, and we'll leave him there. And Horace Young at the plate. With 2 outs, until we do get to 2 strikes, I'm going to stay on power with Horace here. Try to get ourselves into a situation where we have runners like on second and third, and then Brad can maybe do something. Horace has worked it to a 2-2 count so far, and we're just going to stay on power. If Brad has to lead off next inning, it's not the end of the world. Horace hits a little pop-up that Sally does catch off of the rebound, off of herself. But that's alright, we put up 9 runs there in the third, so struggled those first couple innings, but turned things around there. And like I said, we'll have Brad now leading off in the bottom of the 4th, which is, you know, not good, but well fielded, honestly, by Davey at third on a very hard-hit grounder from Marcellus Marks. But with Mark's speed and just the fact that Ahmed is a little afraid of the ball over at first, Davey just kind of guns it right into Ahmed, despite me trying to get him to come around and actually field the ball. And then the usual pitcher lining up in the wrong spot issue happened. A little pop-up from Kylie. First batter reached on what I would call an error by Ahmed. Kylie gets out and not able to turn 2. And the Wombats break out their undergrounder. As the ball gets a little away from Petra in center. It takes her a while to relay the ball in, and we are going to end up giving up a run and leaving Angelique on first base. So a long undergrounder single from Angelique, unfortunately. Petra in center field, even at Tin Can Alley, has a little bit of a liability. Sally hits a high ground ball. And Davey flubs it. And if I had gone to second, we actually would have got Angelique, I think. Just trying to get the speedier runner. But it's a little too late to do anything about it by the time we actually had the ball and were able to throw it. Larry hits a little pop-up to Cal, and we're not able to get particularly close to turning 2 or anything. So still runners on first and second, and we get rid of our chance to try to turn 2. Wombats put their second run on the board. And we have 2 outs here on Donald Vogel, who is now behind in the count. 0-2. And we blow some heat blowing away right by him for Andy's 3rd strikeout of the game. Not before we give up our second run, of course, but that's alright. Still a 9-run lead here going into the bottom of the 4th. Generally an easy out here with Brad, but you never know what could happen. Sally tries to throw at that big head of his, and again, That's not allowed in backyard baseball, sadly. What? I would never intentionally throw at these kids. Nobody quote that out of context, please. Brad fouls off the second pitch for a strike and hits a weak ground ball towards Sally for presumably the first out. Could have tried to be a little bit more patient there, but he doesn't have great contact anyways, so if he got to 2 strikes, he would most likely just strike out anyways. Andy not doing quite what I wanted from him. A high pop-up to Sally, and she makes the catch. 2 quick outs for us here in the bottom of the 4th. Brings up Ahmed with nobody on base. It's a hard ground ball towards third. And the throw actually would have beat him. A nice play from Jim Kiley. There's a very strong arm over there at third, of course. If Angelique had been ready at first, Ahmed would have been retired there, but she was not, so he was not. So we do have a runner on first for Rawl, and he hits a ground ball that I feel like could have been fielded by Larry, but he just kind of watched it go. So Rawl continues to be perfect at the plate, at least in backyard baseball standards so far this season. And that brings up Petra with 2 outs, but 2 runners on base. Takes the first pitch on the inner part of the strike zone for, well, strike 1. Ooh, that pitch was low and on the outside corner. Tough place to try to hit the ball. Good location from Sally. Petra makes good contact on 2 strikes though. And with how it bounced around, okay. Just barely didn't get Petra thrown out at second, and they ended up deciding to try to cut off Rawl instead. So I don't think I did anything illegal there, that's how I would describe it. Petra makes her way back to first base safely, did not try to run with anybody else. Whew. Jumped all over that first pitch fastball from Reese, who came in to pitch now. Here, pulled it slightly foul though. And then gets another nice pitch to hit, but does not do much with it. And I had been sending Petra on a steal like I should have been. Maybe we could have pulled something off there, sprinting Emery to first. But instead we get retired for our 3rd out of the inning, so just 1 run scored there in the bottom of the 4th, as Jerry Mahoney leads off for these Wombats in the top of the 5th now. So it should be Jerry, and then back to the top of the order with Reese and Gale, which was probably just on the inning recap screen, but I wasn't paying that much attention to it. So it is Reese Worthington coming up to bat second here for the Wombats. We'll see how long he stays on the mound on the defensive side of things. Continuing to somewhat pitch around him after his nice double to start off this ballgame. It's pretty good contact. Is Davey going to get it going back? No. Can we get the ball in time? Yes. A long single for Reese. Moderate double play opportunity with Gale up, but going to need some pretty weak contact to actually do that. As she takes a left hook for strike 1 instead. At a tough spot to hit the ball, but trying to put it at least a little bit in front of the plate so she can actually make contact. It's going to be tough for you to make contact if you stay in this particular stance where I'm throwing the ball though, Gale. She He's fouled off a couple now, so still sitting here 0-2, and still with Reese hanging out at first base. Gale finally switched her stance temporarily, but just fouls a pitch back. Pitches again, hits the ball, not quite where I would have wanted her to. Kyle makes a nice catch, but Reese is able to retreat well in time back to first. So no double play opportunity once again. And a runner on first for Marcellus Marks is not what we wanted, as Marcellus crushes it towards left field. Well fielded by Horace. And hopefully we end up getting an out here. We do not. Ugh. I should have held the ball at third. I thought we would immediately apply the tag at second when Reese just took off, but I guess our player was not quite in the right spot there. So ultimately is ruled a double for the Wombats. Marcellus was just running right up to Reese, who was planted on second base. It's like the AI knew that I would manage to screw that up somehow. But we're not punished for it. Jim hits a little dribbler to the pitcher. Andy makes a fine throw to first. And we get out of there with no damage done that inning. So still 12-2 lead here. And Davey Marion to lead things off. Reese still on the mound. Davey fouls the first pitch back for a strike. And it's going to get called a strike, but not really what I want to swing at. We'll switch to line drive here with 2 strikes now. Davey hits the ball hard into left. Ball bounces away from Sally, who then runs into Larry. Looks like who's coming up with it? Nobody. Reese comes up with it. About half of the Wombats were all chasing after that one. Ultimately, probably could have got Davey to third without too much trouble, but hard to guess exactly when they were going to get it. It looked like Marcellus was going to catch up to it coming in from right field and field it a little in front of second base, but it actually just kept bouncing around. So Cal Ripken now up. Runner on second for him, and no outs in the inning. He takes the first 2 pitches for balls. Hits a nice line drive right at Larry. Larry cannot make the catch, though. So technically a single for Cal, more realistically a error on Larry Walker at shortstop. But regardless, runners on first and second, and no outs for Horace here. As Reese misses way low and outside for ball 1 on the first pitch. The pitch was probably outside. Looked like a good pitch to hit anyways, but Horace just pops it up, and it gets called an infield fly. That brings up Brad Bender here. We'll send our faster runners on steals as kind of a hit and run. It does get Brad thrown out at first ultimately, but our lead runners make it successfully. Not a bad sacrifice from Brad there. Actually, our runners were like a little too fast where they did not even try to make a throw. And they swing it the first pitch with Andy. He hits it barely off the wall in center. A couple fielders were immediately ready, but we do manage to score a run. I believe that was... I already forgot who was on base ahead of Kyle. Davey. Literally on that hook from Reese. You have Ahmed Khan at the plate. 1-1 the count on him. 2 outs in the inning. And runners on first and second. Ahmed fouls off that pitch to go to 1 and 2. It's the ball hard, but on the ground. And Andy is not able to make it to second in time, so we're retired. Only 13 runs. I mean, I say only. That's not like terrible, but with this offense and with playing at Tin Can Alley, I would like to be scoring more than that. Quite a bit better than that in our first game this year. But doesn't always work out. This defense was, I would say, stronger than, well, our own defense. We played basically our own team last time out. Basically, as soon as we knocked Randy off the mound in that one, it was a pretty ugly defense. And our defense is not the best defense out there either. But yeah, once this team's defense got misaligned, I would have thought we could have done some more with it, but just didn't quite have the power swings down this game, I would say. Just to do a little bit of reflection as we try to finish off this Wombats offense without too much difficulty. Can you get it in time? Yes. Good job, Ahmed. Hard throw from Davey. Ahmed hung in there at least that time, and it bounced off him, but he picked it up and stepped on first in time to retire Sally Dobbs. And that'll bring up Larry Walker for hopefully the last at-bat of the game here. It's a pop-up towards Ahmed. Ahmed does not make the catch, but does get the ball to first in time. I'm surprised that worked from a few different perspectives and that it was in time with Larry at the plate, but we'll take it. Alright, so we do get out of there with no further damage done. A 13-2 victory for us Orioles. And probably a couple decent options for player of the game here. Davey was making pretty dang good contact and had 2 doubles and a homer. So probably him. Andy was doing a good job at the top of the order once again. Wall was our only 4-for-4 player in this one. Horace struggled a bit more than we would like down towards the bottom of the lineup. And Brad, well, did his Brad thing. Andy was okay on the mound. Did not throw a single ball in this one. Kind of interesting. Gave up those 2 runs, one of them from an undergrounder, mostly. Not really his fault. The first was kind of weird too, with Reese getting that powerful double to lead things off. But anyways, still a pretty nice win for the Orioles, and that's going to be all for today, and we'll tune in next time to see who our third opponent is. Thanks for watching. Bye.